Tell us what inspired you to write this cookbook that uses food scraps in all its delicious recipes.
So, obviously, as you know, a huge part of leading a plant-based lifestyle is thinking about the environmental implications that animal agriculture has. And it was just one day I really didn't know much about food waste, but I heard the statistic that between 30 to 40% of the entire US food supply goes to landfills, which is staggering. And you kind of think in your mind, okay, does that food just decompose and it's all dandy? Well, unfortunately, when food decomposes in landfills, it creates methane gas, which contributes to global warming. I think I heard a statistic today that said that food waste is actually creates more emissions than the airline industry. So that gives you a scale of how much impact this has. And then sort of your mind goes to, okay, where is this waste coming from? Is it restaurants? Is it grocery stores? Is it happening on farms? And shockingly, the largest percentage is in consumers' homes. So I felt really, as a plant based food blogger, that I needed to talk about this. So one day I threw up a candied orange peel recipe, and it was really funny because whenever I put up a video, I kind of walk away from it because I don't want to know what the first reaction is. I get very nervous. So I walked away from my phone and I came back to it about a couple hours later, and it had a non exaggerated million views. People were going crazy saying, wow, I've never seen anything like this. And that's how Scrappy Cooking started. So fast forward to probably now a year and a half ago, my first cookbook was out. I really wanted to write a second, and these scrappy cooking episodes, people were just so intrigued by this idea of being able to use foods that they would commonly throw away and make them into delicious recipes. And I thought, man, I have never seen a cookbook that is not only plant-based, but also focuses on reducing waste, which is this major issue. So that's how it all started, the Cliff Notes version.
I love that it's better for our planet, and was amazed to learn from you actually, because you do have a little bit in your book about food waste and some stats. And it's I learned from you that food waste is estimated to make up almost 25% of all the material in landfills also. That's
Staggering.
a lot. And of course, it emits methane, which is a greenhouse gas that is many, many, many times more destructive than carbon dioxide. So many good things are happening from just cooking meals from your cookbook. So tell us, though, the other thing that I know motivated you too was that money. We save money when we don't throw away less food. So talk to me a little bit about that.
So I'm in Canada, and I hear from my US friends this is a problem as well, but you can probably relate that grocery prices have just skyrocketed probably over the last 3 to 5 years, astronomically, really. And if we think about how much we spend on groceries per week, per month, especially people who have families, it's really nonsensical to think that we throw away almost 30% of that food. So if you want to reduce the inflation impact that is having on your grocery bill, reducing your food waste is the number one way you can do that. And I tell people we like to do scrappy cooking, and scrappy cooking is a blast to think about making bacon out of banana peels. But in reality, what scrappy cooking is about is just thinking and being more mindful about the food that you purchase and making sure that you're using it. That's where we want to kind of get down to, is making a shopping list, being really mindful about what you're putting into your cart and putting into your fridge, and making sure that you have a plan for it, rather than just aimlessly heading to the grocery store, buying all of these groceries that you don't know what you're going to do with. And then you get to the end of the week, you see at the back of the fridge a wilting box of spinach and think, oh crap, I didn't use this. What can I do with it now?
So are you saying that planning is the number one helpful tip to reduce food waste?
Planning is 100% the number one. And I like to break this down and tell people it doesn't have to be this complicated process. So I like to sit down on a Sunday. Sunday's usually when we go grocery shopping in my home, and get out a piece of paper and write down like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's probably great magnets you can put on your fridge for this and whatnot. And just write down what you plan to eat for the week. This doesn't have to be super rigid. It could be like, okay, I know we're going to want a chili for dinner, overnight oats for breakfast a couple of days. Wednesday, we might get takeout, and write down a rough grid. Then what you're going to do is look in your fridge and pantry and see if you have ingredients that already correspond with these meals. And if you do, obviously that's a bonus. You're already saving money off your grocery bill. And for what you don't, you want to look at how you can use ingredients in multiple meals if you can. That's another great tip. And then you head to the grocery store. Food marketing, as we know, is just incredible. And it's so easy to get distracted. But your surefire way of not is by having like a very steadfast list and plan made from your plan for the week when you know exactly what you're going to eat. So that's my number one tip. No apps needed, no fancy cookbooks needed. I'm not here to sell you on anything. It can be as simple as writing out a list of what you're planning to eat for the week.
Well, I want to sell them on your book. So start with some of the tips that you have in there.